Everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to be carrying on with this colour along from Rita Berman, and I think we're going to do this little one here today with like the inside of the house. So I'll go ahead and zoom you in and we'll get started. Okay guys, so the first colour I'm going to go in with is Watermelon Pink. So I'm going to use this to do a base coat on this little sofa here because I want this to be pink, which is one thing that I actually know before starting this picture. So I thought we'd go ahead and start with this. So I'm going to do a light base coat on here so that we can get our base colour down. And I want to just say a big thank you to everybody that's been watching this colour along, and everyone that's sort of commented on it and said how much they're enjoying it. I really appreciate seeing all of your comments. So that's really nice. So thank you very much. Next, taking Fuchsia, which is a bit of a darker pink, we're going to go ahead and add the shading into here. So I'm going to go ahead and darken up this arm here because I have a feeling this would be a little bit darker. And then I'm going to go over the lines and make them stand out a little bit more. We'll do the same for these top sections, so just go around the lines to make it look like it's pushed in a little bit more. So I'm just going to do the inside parts of these. I'm going to use this colour to fill in the underneath section as well, because this would be a little bit darker. Then going back in with Watermelon Pink, I'm going to go ahead and fill that in properly. So I'm just going to use normal pressure and go ahead and fill this in. And we'll go ahead and fill in these little scallops around the edge. And this side edge here. I'm just going to go back in with Fuchsia and just darken up these lines because we seem to have lost these a little bit. Next, taking a gold gel pen, which is nearly run out because I use it so much. I'm going to go ahead and fill in the little button details on the sofa, just to add a little bit of gold sparkle to this. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in its little foot in gold as well. And whilst we've got the gold out, I'm going to go ahead and fill in this picture frame because I wanted this one to be gold. And I think we'll do this one gold as well, just so that it matches. So I'll go ahead and fill this in. Next, going in with orange, I'm going to go ahead and fill in these little oranges in the picture itself. So because it's so small, I'm just going to fill these in completely, just using normal pressure, so they'll be nice and bright. Then taking matcha green, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the little leaves that are on there. Next, taking peacock blue, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the background of this little picture. We're going to add a little bit of blue into this picture as well. It's so small you can't actually see what it is. And then I'm going to go back in with watermelon pink and just fill in the middle section. Next, going in with lime green, I'm going to make a start on these leaves that are coming out of this vase. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a base coat on these to get them nice and bright. Then going back in with matcha green, we're going to add some shadow to these. So I'm going to shade down the bottom where they are nearer to the vase. And then I'm going to add a shade line in to the middle section. So just run a line up the middle. Then going in with pink macaroon, I'm going to do a base coat on the vase itself. So I'm just going to do light pressure on this and fill it in. Then taking peony pink, we're going to add some shade. So I'm going to darken up the right hand side. And the same for the bottom. So take it along the edge using more pressure. And then start to lift the pressure as you come away to blend this out. Next, going in with mint green, I'm going to go ahead and fill in this little book here. So I'm going to fill it all in apart from the little circles on there. And these two stripes in the middle. So going back in with our gold gel pen, I'm going to fill in the little dots. And also these two little stripes in the middle. Just to add a little bit of gold to that. Next, going in with Mykonos Blue, I'm going to go ahead and fill in this little book here. So I wanted this one to be a darker blue. Okay, next taking jasmine yellow, I'm going to make a start on the record player. So what I want to do is make this look gold as well, but I want it to have some shadow to it. So I'm going to do it with the pencils. So first off, I'm just going to go in with this colour, which is like a creamy yellow, and do a base coat on the gold parts. Then taking Camel Brown, which is quite a light brown colour, I'm going to go ahead and add the shade in. So anywhere where I want this to be a little bit darker. So inside here would be a little bit darker. So I'm going to fill that in and then lift the pressure as you come out towards the edge. We'll add some shadow here where these lines are. And right underneath there would cause a bit of a shadow. Go ahead and darken up the bottom edges of that bit and all along the bottom here. Just add a little bit of shadow there. And then for this flute part, I'm just going to go ahead and darken up the very outside edges. And as you can see, some of them I've just done halfway, so it leaves a little bit of a highlight on the ends as well. And then I'm just going to darken up inside here because we want this to be the darkest part. Then I'm going to go over all of that with lemon yellow, and this should make it look a little bit more goldy looking than what we've got at the moment. And it will also blend out the camel brown that we put in. So you just want to take it over the camel brown as well. And just mix everything together nicely. For the record itself, I'm going to fill it in with shadow grey because this is quite a dark grey colour, and I know records are normally like a black colour. So I thought we'll put this on first and then we can always add some black to shade it if we need to. So I've just done a light base coat, and now I'm just going in with a bit more pressure anywhere that I want it to be a little bit darker. And I actually think that's going to be dark enough. It's quite dark when you put more pressure on it, so I think we'll leave that like that. Just touch up these little bits here where I've missed a little bit of colour. Okay, so next we're going to move on to the base, and I'm going to go in with Camel Brown, and I'm going to do a base on this top edge here, because I'm assuming that this would be wooden with some kind of creative little pattern on there. So I'll go ahead and do a base coat on the bottom edge as well. And then just around these little fancy details. Then going in with Cocoa Brown, I'm going to add some shadow to that. So I'm going to darken up on the corners on both sides. We'll add a little bit of shade here from the disc itself. And just lift the pressure as you come out to blend that out. And then I think we'll add a little bit of shade on this corner here, because I think this edge would be a little bit darker. Then going back in with Camel Brown, I'm going to blend that all together. Okay, then going back in with Jasmine Yellow, I'm going to go ahead and do a base coat on these swirls here, because I thought we should make them look gold so that it matches the top of the speaker, sorry, not the top. And then I'll go in with Camel Brown and just add some light pressure and give them a little bit of shade just around the top. Then going back in with Lemon Yellow, I'll go ahead and make them look a little bit more goldy. So just fill that in using normal pressure. And then sticking with Lemon Yellow, I'm going to fill in this centerpiece here and this little line, or the handle that goes to it. So next I'm going to go in with Dolphin Gray, and I'm going to make a start on the floor itself. So I'm just going to go in with light pressure and just do a little base coat of Dolphin Gray on the floor, because I thought it would be nice to make it look like a nice grey flooring. Then I'm going to use Steel Grey as my shade colour. So the first thing that I'm going to do is add in a little bit of shade here where the foot of the sofa would be cast in a bit of a shadow, and here from this cabinet. Then I'm going to go ahead and darken up these lines and just accentuate them. I'm going to add some more in here because I want it to look like they carry on. Fill in that bottom edge with the normal, with Steel Grey. Okay, and that's not quite dark enough, so I'm going to try Elephant Grey and see if this is any darker. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit darker, so that's better. So I'm just going to go over where we put these lines in with the Steel Grey, just darken that up. Okay, next we're going to move on to this little cabinet, and I've decided to do it green. So I'm going to go in with lime green and do a base coat on the whole cabinet, just so that it's got a nice light colour as its base. Then taking matcha green, we're going to add some shadow to this. So I'm going to shade underneath here where the drawers are sitting, and then up the right hand side. So do the same for all of these little drawers. We'll add a little bit of shade in the handle. And then darken up the top where we've got all of the little items on. Just leave the little light bit there. I think I'm going to darken up along here as well. Add a little bit of shade here by its little foot. And then going back in with lime green, I'm just going to go ahead and blend this all out. Okay guys, so I've decided to do the background blue, so I'm going to go in with Robin Egg Blue and do a base coat all over the background. Then going in with Sapphire Blue, we're going to add some shade. So under here would be a bit darker because the settee would be casting a bit of a shadow. So I'm going to darken up under here. So I'm just using a bit more pressure right under the sofa and then lifting the pressure as you come towards the bottom edge. We'll add a shadow down this side of the sofa as well. And then just lift the pressure to start to blend that out. Go ahead and add a shade around this picture frame. And then again, lift the pressure to blend it out. Do the same for this one. We'll darken up in between here because this would be all in shadow. And then just lift the pressure as you come away. Under here I think would all be darker as well, so we can go ahead and fill this little bit in underneath the cabinet. And then here in between the xylophone, or the record player, not the xylophone, we can fill this bit in darker. Then I'm just going to add a little bit of light pressure shadow behind these leaves. Okay, so going back in with Robin Egg Blue, I'm going to go ahead and fill this in properly and go over all the shadows, make sure that it's all blended nicely. Okay, next I'm going to go back in with my gold gel pen, and I'm just going to go ahead and go over these photo frames just to try and make them a little bit brighter. Then going in with a white gel pen, I'm going to go ahead and add some little highlights to this. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to go over this little line that Rita's left on this little pot here. And then I'm going to add a little highlight just onto the edge of the speaker. And we'll add one here as well where we left the lightest part. We'll add a little highlight on to the record. And then I'm just going to do some little dots in the background of the picture. And that's it, you guys. That's our next little picture completed. So I'll zoom you out so you can take a better look. Okay, so that's how this side's looking so far. So we've got one more big one to do, and then we've just got the little background ones to complete. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video.